No-shave-ember say we love the alcohol. La 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all. La 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. And every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. So order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. And every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. So order up around for you and me. And you and me. And you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ.
And I'm Chris.
And this is episode 251. Welcome back, everybody, to the virtual Nerd Basement, our first episode after our anniversary show at 250. Which
Man, that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. We had a bunch of guests on, a bunch of people that have been on the show previously. Scott Mullen joined us. Stella, my girlfriend Stella, who was our very first guest, she joined us for a bit, for most of the show, actually. We had Renee, we had Pete, I believe, as well.
Yep.
And it was a great time. It's a good time. We tried to get a couple other people, but unfortunately,
This didn't work out timing
quite
wise.
work out. It's a little short notice too. I mean, we unfortunately Sean Nicolin was going to join us, but life intruded, and as did
Dave Kish.
Dave Kish. Thank you. But once again, we are back on a Monday for our temporary show date. While I am losing my mind at work, we have 2 weeks. 2 weeks until we have to be done, pretty much. For the
should I just plan on like next week you being on, but then the following week just having somebody else on, because it'll be the week of the parade.
Probably, because Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Tuesday and Wednesday are. I mean, if we're not done by Monday, we're really fucked, you know. Tuesday is the dead last day we can do production. ACD. Because Wednesday is the day we move out all the floats. So yeah, so next week I should still be able to make it. I'll let you know. But the week after, you might want to have a guest host.
Yeah, maybe some emergency finish ups at a little bit of a late night on Monday.
Probably. I'm guessing. I mean, we've got essentially, as of today, we had 10 working days, but my guess is we'll probably be doing the next 2 Saturdays, at least for a while too. We probably won't work Sunday because God, we need a fucking break. I need to, do laundry and, go to the grocery store. This has been a rough one. We generally do have a big push at the end of the season, but because of getting art late in the season, we are definitely a little more pushed than normal. So, and there's a bunch of shit that only I can do. So I'm trying to do that, but I'm also tasked with managing the paint area in the department. So it's a little hard sometimes. Russ, what can I do? Russ, what can I do? What's next, Russ? What's next, Russ? And I'm like, okay. And so I find the work for people, and then I'm just like, so much to do. So anyway, but it is nice to be sitting my happy ass down at my desk here, joining you for our lovely show.
So
I'm very tired.
So how was your week other than that?
I'm trying to remember what I did. It was okay. Went and saw Eternals on Sunday, which we'll talk about Sunday evening. I also met with the cast for the new murder mystery show that I'm in. I did, I don't know if you recall, I did a murder mystery show a couple weeks ago, and it was lovely. It was a lot of fun, and I'm doing another one in March. And I actually have a pretty much bigger part this time around. I actually have I have a lot of lines, and I'm a primary character instead of a secondary character this time. So Sunday afternoon, I met with we did a read through and everything. A lot of dick jokes. A lot of dick jokes. So
going for the cheap humor, huh?
A little bit. But no, the weekend was it was my last chance so particularly Saturday was my last chance to just kind of relax for a while before we get into all the shit, because I doubt I'm going to have much time or chance for that for the next 2 weeks. And I introduced Stella to The Sopranos. We did.
Yeah, see, I've never watched The Sopranos.
Oh my God.
It's on my list. It's another one of those shows that's on my list.
Yeah, I get it. It's on your list. I'll give you a list. No, I watched the Saints of Newark, the Many Saints of Newark, the prequel movie that was on a couple in early October, and it was fantastic, and it got me kind of going. I wouldn't mind rewatching that show. Also, considering the last season or so, I missed I think a lot of it. So, so I started just like last week, kind of just listening to it while I'm at work, and just have it on my tablet and listening to it on my earbuds. And man, I tell you, it is one of those shows that, it's great to watch it, but it's such a dialogue heavy show. Really listening to it works pretty well too. So I watched a couple episodes and went, what, I'm going to finally sit Stella down and have her watch this show. And she liked the first. We watched the pilot, and she enjoyed it. So I think we're gonna slowly do a slow binge on that one.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that was about it. I mean, just a lot of work this week, and a little funsy on the weekend, but that's about it. What about your week? How did you?
Well, I actually had a really good week in that I only worked 3 days last week, and then had a long weekend. Where Renee and I, CD says that need to watch The Expanse first, and that's also on my list, and I do need to get to that.
Yeah, me too. I need to get back to that. I watched the first season, and it was fantastic. I need to get back to that.
I watched the first couple. I've watched like the first episode, but it's been so long that I need to watch it again. But yeah, Renee and I are actually just started watching Castle again. Because I've watched all of them. She's seen sporadic episodes.
It just went back on Hulu.
Yeah.
And I put it on my list too, because I'll watch anything with Nathan Fillion. He's fantastic. And
I really am ruggedly handsome.
Yes. It's really funny. And it is definitely one of those ones I think Star would get into too. So I think I'm gonna watch that.
But yeah, so anyway, Renee and I went to a curling tournament last weekend in Kalamazoo. It was the Kalamazoo Beer Spiel. And it was a blast. We hit a bunch of breweries we had never been to. We went to actually 4 different breweries that we'd never been to, and 1 meadery. And the meadery was fantastic. I got some of their stuff. I'm not going to be reviewing it on here, at least not right now. Maybe not until you're actually able to be here, because I want you to try some of this stuff, because it was out of this fucking world.
All right, yeah.
But that place was kind of cool. It's called Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Yes, Valhalla.
I like it already.
And he's actually getting a new spot. He was actually out by the arena, which is over on the east side of Kalamazoo. And he said he's getting a place in downtown Kalamazoo. And he's going to basically completely redo the inside. And he's like, here's what I want it to look like. And he's got pictures of things. And he basically is going to turn it into a Norse mead hall with this giant table. And he's going to have this big wooden bar that at one end is going to be Yggdrasil. And he's got pictures of that. The guy used to design sets for Hollywood.
Okay.
So he's done a lot of that kind of stuff. This dude had stories. He's designed sets for Hollywood. He's toured with bands, including Ozzy and Metallica, and he named off like 5 other bands. But anyway, so he's going to have Yggdrasil at one end, and then there's going to be like a river going through the bar, he said.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, of course, he's got a picture of Mjolnir on like these rocks thing. And he said that, he goes, of course, there's going to be a Mjolnir there. He goes, that only I can lift because I'm worthy. And we went, oh, okay. He's like, in all honesty, it's because I have an RFID tag in my bracelet that will disengage the magnets when I grab it.
Right, exactly. I was just going to say.
But I did get a bracelet. Oops. Where's it go? Well, I was there.
A bracelet?
Yeah, it's a cuff bracelet type thing with the a wolf on it.
Cool.
That, what it was copper and leather, and I always like these like cuff things. So the thicker bracelets. I liked it a lot, and I have a thing for wolves. It's also copper, which I love. So it's I'm like, oh, it's only $12. Yes, I will take it. But yeah, so we hit that. We hit One Well Brewing, which was really good. Final Gravity, which was kind of and then Presidential Brewing, which was really good. And honestly, they have some of the most unique names or most fun names for beers that I've seen. I even took a picture of their board. They have Fake Brews is one of their beers.
Fake Brews?
Yep,
okay.
it's a Coveffe blonde.
It's a what?
A Coveffe blonde. Remember the whole Coveffe thing?
Yeah.
It actually says it's Coveffe blonde is what it says underneath it.
Sake.
They have Rutherford B. Haze, Haze, which is a New England IPA. Write-in Ballot, which is a hop variety IPA. Watergate, which is a seltzer. Jimmy's Peanut Farm, which is a peanut butter porter. Patriotic, which is an oatmeal blonde. Achy Breaky Harding, which is an amber lager. Sherbert Hoover, which is a kettle sour. Bad Biden Brown, which is a brown ale. Franklin D. Gozavelt, which is a Goza, that one was absolutely out of this world. Congress is In. It's a session IPA. And then Oatbama.
Oatbama?
Yeah, it's an oatmeal stout.
Yeah, dude. Those are horrible. And
they are fantastic.
Horrible. You have terrible taste. And that's all I have to say about you and your dad joke taste.
So, anyway, weak names. I thought those were great names, CD. Anyway,
all dad jokes.
One of the other things that we did was we got to do keg curling on Saturday night.
Keg curling?
Yeah, which I have a video of, and I'll show it to you next time we get together. But it's basically we took empty kegs, and it was 4 per side, and we pushed them down the ice and competed against another team to see who could score the most points, just like curling. There were takeouts, there were draws. It was actually a lot of fun. One guy was out there with no shirt on.
Of course,
he had actually curled with no shirt on through an entire game earlier in the day.
Classy.
Yeah. We're like, what the fuck? Did he lose a bet? I mean, what? But yeah, other than that, my knee's all messed up right now because of curling. Too much doing squats to get down into the hack and pushing off, I think. Right. All swollen and sore. My arm is actually also sore. I've got like golfer's elbow going or tennis elbow, whichever one's on the outside. I think that's tennis elbow, I think, outside. So I definitely am not my body's not happy with me at the moment.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of cool people. got to curl with some people that I hadn't really curled with much before. So yeah, it was fun. Good time.
Well, that's good, at least.
Yep.
Good times. I'm glad you had a nice experience there at your new spiel.
Yep.
I gotta say, man, it just, why is it called a spiel or spiel?
I'm not exactly sure why it's a bond spiel is actually the name of it.
Okay.
I'm not sure where that comes from. It's something I've actually meant to look up. Bonspiel is a word for a curling match and derives from the Dutch term spiel, meaning game.
Okay.
Part of a complete episode. So it's a Dutch word, I guess. Weird. It's a Scottish game with a Dutch name for the tournaments. That I know of because it's played so much in Canada.
All right. I'm just curious. Just a funny name.
Yeah, I had actually been meaning to look that up for years, and
well, here it is. Now you finally had the opportunity. Yep. I pushed you into doing it.
That's right.
Checking it out, figuring it out.
Yeah. So, you drinking anything tonight?
No, I didn't have the time to go and get anything really. I kind of busted my butt to just get home so we could get into this, and I just didn't have a chance to grab anything. So I'm just drinking. Just got a little bit of regular, just apple cider.
Okay.
I mean cider mill cider. Right here in my. That's about it. Also has some Gatorade, but I don't think they'll mix well together. It'd be bad. What are you drinking?
I am actually drinking something that I won at the beer spiel this weekend. They had a raffle at a bunch of baskets, and my ticket got pulled for this particular one. I won 4 things of cider, 4 cans of cider, and a Kalamazoo curling hat, which I had actually just bought one earlier that day, and a bottle of the one of those moonshine ones that come in the like mason jars. I forget which one it is. It's out in the kitchen, right? But it's the apple pie version.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to trying that one out. But
that.
The cider that I'm drinking right now is called The Wanderer by Odd Brothers Craft Cider, and the can's kind of cool. Where it's not up, but it's almost like a tarot card look to it. And it says it is a cider with cinnamon. Okay. And it says this is our nod to the original American wanderer Johnny Appleseed Chapman, whose wandering spread the influence of the cider apple throughout the West. It has a little chart, and it's very much over on the sweet side. Locally sourced apples blended with a hint of tongue-hing cinnamon. 6.5 ABV, so not a light one. It is a light color though, and very appley on the nose, and
sorry,
a lot of good apple flavor. And they're right. There's just a hint of cinnamon. This is superb.
Superb.
This is absolutely fantastic. I am highly impressed with this.
High praise.
It is extremely tasty. It reminds me a little bit of Summerbee, that one we got from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of that. It's got that little bit of tart, but it's still very sweet. This is really, really fantastic. I like this one a lot. I will. I'll think about saving a can for the next Tavern Nights, and you can try a little.
That would be lovely.
So, but yeah, I'll give this 4.5 stars or bottle caps. Actually, like this is fantastic. And
Alrighty.
I'm guessing these guys are out of. There they are. Homer, Michigan.
Out of Homer, Michigan?
Yeah, I don't even know where that is. But that's what it says. So, but yeah, really good. If you can find it, I don't know how. I've never seen it. I've never seen Odd Brothers before that I know of. So, but yeah, Odd Brothers Craft Ciders. If you can find it, I highly recommend at least this one, The Wanderer. I will definitely try out some of the other stuff. Yeah.
Alrighty. Sounds good. I'd love to try it.
So yeah. And speaking of drinks, though, well, something I saw online when I was getting ready for the show today, is Ryan Reynolds did a video where he created a drink, and it was in honor of America's favorite rib-shaped sandwich.
Rib-shaped sandwich.
Yes. He made a glass-shaped drink that would be a perfect match with it, is what he said. And he said, you don't think gin and barbecue sauce go together, let me McEducate you. Or McProve you wrong, or something like that. So basically, the recipe is called the gin riblet. And it is 4 ounces of tomato juice.
Oh.
A half an ounce of barbecue sauce. A squeeze of lemon. And 1.5 ounces of Aviation American gin.
So Ryan Reynolds is now trying to poison people.
He basically said you fill a shaker full of ice, you pour the ingredients in, you shake it, and then you pour it into a glass through a strainer, and garnish with a pickle and an onion. And he just had like a little pickle and one of the little onions. And he took a drink and he's like, it's like Bloody Mary's, was it spicy sister or something like that?
I've never quite understood the whole Bloody Mary thing.
Oh, I love Bloody Marys.
Yeah, I prefer to take my tomatoes and sauce over pasta, and not combined with booze. Thank you very fucking much.
Well, some of the places around here will do Bloody Marys, and it's like you get a meal with your Bloody Mary, because everything that comes on the skewer, there's like it's like a full on meal on there half the time.
You get like a onion ring, and 2 olives, and a pickle, and a
pickled asparagus at some places, chunks of salami and cheese,
chunk of meat, that kind of thing. Yeah,
shrimp on some of them.
Yeah, can I just have the food? So yeah, not really my jam.
But anyway, I thought it was funny, and it's all and at the end it flashes up, gin riblet, and he's like, and bring back Grimace, damn it.
Bring back Grimace?
That's what he said.
I always wondered what the fuck Grimace was. I mean, why? What is he supposed to represent? You had the Hamburglar, you had Mayor McCheese, you had the Fry Guys, but what the fuck was Grimace? Was Grimace the face you made when you get a brain freeze from drinking a shake or a soda?
I always associated him with the shakes. I actually did always associate Grimace with the shakes.
Okay. I don't know, man.
It looks like something Barney would poop out.
Gross.
Well, they recently confirmed that. He's a taste bud.
Grimace is a taste bud? Man, it's weird. Weird.
That's weird. That is weird that's what he would be.
I mean, we did have a clown leading the whole McDonald's pack, so who knows? just strange. What else? So what were we talking about?
The trailer for Stranger Things season 4 dropped this week too.
I have not had the chance to see that. What was your initial feelings?
I'm looking forward to it. The kids are all looking a little older because I mean they are, and it looks like they're all in high school now.
That's season 4, correct?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they're all in high school now.
I haven't watched season 3 yet.
7 is out in California, and she's writing to Mike about coming back. Can't wait for spring break so that she can see him and all this. And then we're gonna have the best spring break ever. And of course, shit happens. And
crazy shit happens to these kids.
Yeah. But it looks good. I mean, it's kind of just like a teaser trailer. It's not really there's lots of flashes of things and but yeah, it looks cool. Looks like the one I didn't see is David Harbour in there, but I'm sure he's going to be in it. At least I'm hoping he's in it. Because it's not going to be the same without Hopper.
No.
But I saw Winona Ryder's in it. The main kid, Mike, is in it, but he's the only one that I've seen other than 7. I didn't see either of his 2 friends. I don't think what's his name is back. The one kid. Can't think of his name now. Fuck.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, I don't think one of them's coming back. I had heard some rumors that he wasn't, but we'll see. Okay. Overall, though, it looks good. You saw his Mike's older brother in one of the scenes. So yeah, I'm interested to see where they're taking it because now it's a different part of the year. Because the first 2 were right around Halloween. The third season is summer break, and so now they're doing spring break.
Okay.
But overall, I still love the show. I think it's fantastic. Takes me back to the 80s. I think they do a great job of...
Oh, they do a real great job recapturing the 80s.
Of capturing the 80s, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have to admit, really great job. God, I'm so far behind in so many things. It was funny, like when I did that wrestling gig over at the Halloween weekend, we talked about that. Did we talk about that? Yeah. I was talking about how I kind of fell away from wrestling. Like it was one of those things I was a big fan of when I was a kid, and then again a little bit was a fan of it when I became an adult, and I was like, it's one of those things you can't do you can't get involved or watch everything that you want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And wrestling was one of those things that kind of fell by the wayside because it just didn't have time. You can't watch everything, and I feel
for me the storylines got a little too cheesy, and I kind of got over it.
I think that was a part of it too. I kind of got over the whole wrestling thing, but I still really enjoyed it, and to some extent. So, I feel I kind of put that in that category of like, well, I just can't read everything. I can't watch everything. I can't play everything. And it definitely fell into that category. So, but I am, I guess my whole point is I'm just running out of like time to watch everything. And I really want to watch season 3 of Stranger Things so that I can watch season 4 coming up. And I just haven't had the fucking time, and it's driving me bonkers,
Yep, I understand. I don't have enough time to watch the shows that I'm watching. Like I started Critical Role tonight. I got about a half an hour into it from last week.
Yeah,
I'm trying to stay up on that. Which, speaking of that, they had a thing at the beginning that I actually had to look up, and I really kind of want it. It's a Kickstarter for Hit Point Press.
Mm-hmm.
Have you started watching this week's yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. It's it looks like the chat is like way behind what our actual chat is on the screen. But anyway, I wonder if, oh, you know what? I know what it is. The chat box is off. Anyway, they have an ad for Hit Point Press, and in their newest one, they're doing one of the things that they have on their Kickstarter is let's see. Hold on, sorry, I'm fixing something on the. I don't know if that's right or not. I think that's. Nope, that ain't it. Anyway, it's there we go. That's so it's a mini that when Renee saw it, she's like, "That's not a fucking mini." I said, "Yeah, it is." She's like, "That's a statue." No, it is a scale to like the D&D figures. It is a scale fig of the Tarask.
Oh, geez.
It's fucking ginormous.
It would be immense. Because if it was to scale to a normal mini,
yeah,
it's a kaiju. It's bigger than a dragon. It's immense. It's the kind of thing that makes dragons shit themselves.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm like, I want that. And you can even get the STL file, which is the printing file for it.
So you're gonna try and print that fucker out?
Oh, I don't know if I could. I don't know if my print bed is big enough. I'd have to do it in pieces.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Even on my, well, I mean, definitely for my resin, I would have to do it in a whole bunch of pieces. But even on my filament printer, I mean, it's big enough where I could do it on the filament printer. But yeah, it's definitely something that looks cool as hell, and I don't even want it to ever use it because I've never used the Tarask. The Tarask is ridiculously powerful, and
it's one of those things you just kind of like have.
Right. You know, it's something I would want to have, and it comes unpainted, so I would actually paint it up, right, and then just display it in the background.
That's a lot. Tarask. That's crazy.
But yeah, so I am trying to keep up with that. I'm trying to keep up with. We're still watching The Rookie. We're keeping up with that. What We Do in the Shadows is done now.
Yeah. Oh my God! What a great show. Great.
Yeah, it really is. And then I don't think there's anything. I don't remember if there's anything else that we're watching that's currently going.
Well, Stella and I watch Law and Order SVU and also Law and Order Organized Crime, the new one. We were watching What We Do in the Shadows, which again, amazing. But we're also currently watching. We're currently slowly binging Schitt's Creek, which is so damn funny. Really damn funny. Thankfully, I mean the show's over, so we're just watching it on Netflix, but so hilarious. What else are we watching? I watched 911. I do watch The Rookie, keeping up on that, trying to. We're getting
really close to Hawkeye.
Yep, Hawkeye's coming up real soon. I also have been slowly binging the Arrowverse and been trying to get caught up on that.
I was trying to do that, and then other things came up, and I just haven't had time to get back to it.
You said too many things, man. Too many things. So much. So yeah.
But anyway, so watching that also, one of the things that I saw was I think Matt Mercer is a fan of one of my favorite shows, Letterkenny.
Oh, so what did he make a reference to Letterkenny?
Yeah, he said, well, to be fair, and then he stopped and went, to be fair.
Now, what would have been awesome is if they had all, at some point,
done to be fair, to be fair, to be fair, to be fair, to be fair.
It really is great. We have the new season of that coming up, I believe.
Yeah, I
In
think
December.
December. I
It is?
think it might be. And then so we're only like a week and a half or 2 weeks, something like that, away from Hawkeye. I don't remember what date that's starting.
Thanksgiving.
Is it on Thanksgiving?
Mhm.
Okay, so we got 2 weeks until that, 2.5 weeks till that. The week before that is Wheel of Time on Prime,
Yeah,
which I'm really looking forward to.
they are releasing. They've been releasing. Yeah, like trailers for it, and it looks pretty amazing.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I read
Letterkenny.
most of those books. I have to get back to them. I didn't read like the last one or two that Jordan did, and then I haven't read any of the ones that Sanderson has done. They are very long. That's true, CD. They are very long books.
What are?
The Wheel of Time books.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
But they're
I've
all
never
really
read
good.
them.
What kills me too is that they're so long, but he winds up with so many characters and there's so much going on that you'll have characters in one book that you won't see for for 2 books because he has to deal with the other characters in the book in between. Because there's actually several characters that you don't see in book to book to book.
I have heard that it is a really great series. I just never got around to. Have never gotten around to watching it, and I'd like to.
Reading it,
or I mean, reading it. I've never gotten around to it. I'd like to, but for the time being, I will have to. I will have to satisfy myself with, just watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glancing at a thing about Letterkenny. Now, last season of 9 premiered the day after Christmas. So the main guess is that season 10 will premiere the day after Christmas. Okay. Also, it did state too. Yes, it did state too that they filmed 10 and 11 together. So hopefully, it won't be a year before they release 11.
It's still only like 12 episodes, which is what I think sucks.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing they're doing. Like, I think last season was 7 episodes. It was like, Jesus Christ, 7 half-hour episodes. Come on, boys.
Come on, all the seasons are like 8 or 6 to 8 episodes.
I know, but I mean,
you can binge the 9 episodes on a freaking Saturday.
Oh, absolutely.
You could 9 seasons.
You could binge the entire show in a weekend easily.
Yep.
I
know people that did.
Yeah, it's easy because I mean, on Hulu, I mean, the episodes are less than half an hour.
Yeah. I stretched them out because I was enjoying them so much that I didn't want to just binge all of them at once. I was doing like a couple of each day for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I didn't for that. I think I watched the entire series up to that point, up to the point of release, up to like season 7 or 8 or something like that. Within a weekend, I think, or maybe like 3-4 days. It was less than a week. I know that. Because I was just like, I love this show. It's so good.
It's so smart. It
really is.
Which I saw somebody today with a Jeep with it on the back. It had like a picture of like the front end of a Jeep. And then down at the bottom where like underneath the grill, it said Ferda.
Ferda boys. We also have a bunch of movies coming down the pipe too, like Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters movie, the new Matrix movie. So there's a lot of content.
Yes.
A lot of content coming.
Yeah, I got to start getting back to the movies because I got to see. Well, I need to see Shang-Chi, which actually comes out on DVD real soon.
Yeah.
Or on Disney, something like that. I don't remember which one's.
It'll be on first. Disney Plus, available on the 12th.
Yeah, that's right. So this weekend. We watch that this weekend, and then maybe go see the Eternals.
Well, there is no tie-in between the Eternals and Shang-Chi, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. I actually saw something online. Is where was Shang-Chi's 10 rings in the Eternals?
Exactly. There was nothing about it.
But yeah. So speaking of the Eternals, you went and saw it.
I did. Now I can do a small spoiler-free review before we get into kind of, well, okay, first of all, it was getting before the premiere, the initial reviews were not great.
But they were all critical. They were all critic reviews.
Yeah, most of them, pretty much all critic reviews. And I gotta say, most critic reviews of Marvel movies, they suck. Critics hate. I mean, so many of them are they look for the artistry. You know, they're film buffs, and they want the movies to be like these incredible art films that
they want the King's Speech.
Yeah, that will change your soul and everything. So any kind of movie that is basically just fun, or if it's fun first, you know, they tear it apart quite often, and it really bothers me, because there is a lot of art and a lot of work that goes into these movies, and by I don't know, by dogging out a film just because it's a tentpole feature for a studio is bullshit. And the movie itself was I now can understand some of the critique, some of the problems we were having. The movie is very dense. There's a lot of there is a lot of unpacking to do, because they're building a whole new franchise here, or at least a whole new branch of the Marvel franchise. And there just was a lot. There's a lot to set up, because a lot of people don't know who the goddamn Eternals are.
Yep.
They're created in the mid 70s, I think 76, by Jack Kirby. Right around the same time, like right after he got done doing all the new Gods stuff at DC. So Darkseid and Mr. Miracle and all those characters for DC. Then he goes back to Marvel and he creates the Eternals, which are a kind of kind of similar in a they have a very similar sense. You know, they're space gods, essentially, alien gods, whatever. And so there was a lot to unpack. There's a lot to create. They did some pretty dramatic shifts in. Oh, well, the problem, like I said, it is very dense. There's a lot to it. And some people are like, well, the movie doesn't stand alone. And it does. It can. You don't have to. It doesn't have to, be. It doesn't. It's not just a movie that leads into other movies. Overall, I enjoyed it a great deal. Not my favorite movie of the Marvel movies, but I still had a great time. The cast was great. And they did some gender shifts on some of the characters. They also did let's see, gender shifts. They obviously, sorry, that was my phone. They obviously did some they did some racial shifts, which, okay, that's fine, who cares, that's the thing. I mean, they're in the comics, they're all kind of depicted as white people for the most part, and they ran the gamut for this movie. They also spotlit certain characters as very heroic that in the comic books are not so much. There were a bunch of changes from the source material, and I wasn't mad at it. It was like, okay, that's fine, whatever, that's fine. And I mean, like I said, Angelina Jolie was amazing as Thena. Salma Hayek was amazing as Ajak. It was really funny at one point because Kit Harington and the two Stark boys, Robb Stark and Jon Snow were both in the movie, and they only have one scene together where they meet each other, and it's kind of funny. And I even shouted out, or not shouted, but even kind of just said when the two of them are facing each other and they're shaking each other's hands, I'm like, I'm King of the North. And several people laughed, it was funny.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, I'm King of the North. They did definitely have a lot of callbacks to the comic books as well, which I do like. it was really cool seeing they're and the movie did end with the Eternals will return. Now it doesn't say where. It doesn't say, hey, we're going to make an Eternals 2 in 2 or 3 years. It just says the Eternals will return. Now my guess is that we're going to see a lot of these characters in some of the next couple of big Marvel movies, you know, like Avengers 4 or whatever, might feature some of the characters, or Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or, you know, Thor, Love and I don't think
Captain America 4, because Cap can't have a solo movie.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? But I'm guessing we are going to see some of these characters again. The special effects were gorgeous, as well as usual. Overall, I'm gonna give the movie a B minus, and no, you know what? I'll give it a solid B, because I still was highly entertained, you know, and Kumail Nanjiani was crack up. I mean, it was just it was a good film. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't Endgame. It wasn't No Way Home. It wasn't Ragnarok, but I think the director really tried to make a Marvel movie that people would look upon as a little more artsy, and like I said, it was definitely building on more things for later.
Okay.
So, and the mythology and the mythos and the you know, just building on what they have been building up to.
Yeah.
You know. So I know the initial like Rotten score credit was like at best like what 59 or 63 or something.
The tomato meter is currently at 48%.
Ooh, ouch.
That's the critic one. The audience score is currently at 80%.
Oh, okay. That's what I was guessing. You know, I mean, apparently it's the #1 movie over the weekend, but that's not surprising considering that it's the first weekend of a major Marvel film.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel movies are always going to do really well on their opening weekend. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's going to be good or not, or whether people are good, because there are just a lot of people that are going to be like, I'm going to go and see it. It's a Marvel movie. Duh.
Yep.
So I do recommend going to see it. I recommend, you know, adding it to your Marvel collection, or if you guys collect all the Blu-rays or whatever, and or at least checking it out on Disney Plus in a couple months. It's pretty solid, you know. And I will say though, I mean, and it does explain why they didn't get involved. You know, they've been on the planet for 7,000 years, and they've always stepped to the sidelines, you know, when it came to human conflict or the other big conflicts of the world. They never they even mentioned about Thanos, and
that was in the preview.
Yeah, it was in the preview. I will say, introducing Kit Harington as Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, was interesting, but you don't see him as a superhero yet. He's just Dane Whitman, and it was pretty cool to see him because you know that's fodder for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 2 post-credit scenes. One, well, both of them are great, but the first one specifically was like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
idea.
People were spoiling the end credit scenes before the movie even came out.
Yeah.
I was seeing stuff about, hey, the end credit scene, here's what it means. I'm like, I don't want to know anything about it.
Right. Well, Chris, people are insensitive. They're insensitive to your plight.
Not just mine. That's just a dick move.
It is. It's a dick move. That's why I'm not going to say anything about what was actually in those post-credit scenes. I'm just going to say, wait until the credits are over for you to see the second one, because the first one is, you know, a mid-credit scene, and then wait for the credits to end, and then you'll see that one.
Yeah, I agree, CD. CD said dicks. He said, now those people should be canceled, if anyone.
For real. Absolutely. So yeah, what did you have anything to say about it? Were you?
No, I mean, I want to see it. I mean, it's that simple. It's just I want to see it. It's a Marvel movie. As much as people kind of some people like dig on Marvel and that their movies are just fluff and all this. I'm like, yeah, they are. You know what? That's what I want when I go to the movies. A lot of times,
A lot of
I
times.
I want I want those fluff things. I want to go and escape. It's a form of escapism.
You want to get fluffed
Yeah, sure.
when you go to the movies? You
No,
want to
not
get
really when I
fluffed?
go to the movies, but
Okay.
that's not what I meant.
Yeah. Sure.
Especially since streaming became a thing and spoilers were shamed.
But yeah, guys, go and see it. It's really a fantastic movie. And
The other one I really want to see that's out right now is No Time to Die, the new Bond.
oh yeah, the new Bond for sure. I haven't heard a lot about it, but other than like, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a Bond movie. What are you gonna do?
Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond right now. I mean, he's of all the Bonds, Timothy Dalton was, and now Daniel Craig is my current.
Yeah, we talked about this
Bond.
last week with our other group. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I never had a problem with Timothy Dalton. I liked Pierce Brosnan. I never really jived on Roger Moore.
I didn't
He was
either.
Okay, but I just never felt.
He was the Bond I grew up with, but
Right.
he wasn't. He never really.
He just didn't. Yeah. And Sean Connery, I appreciated Sean Connery because he's the first one, and he's fucking Sean Connery, But I'd have to say Daniel Craig. Let me take that bow off. Get to know ya. Good old James Bond. I'm James Bond. Shaken, not stirred. Thank you, Sean Connery, for gifting us with your very distinctive voice, so that everybody can do bad impressions of you. He's great. But I'd have to say
the
Daniel
rapist
Craig
for 200, Alex.
I'll take the rapist. That's the other thing, thanks to Sean Connery, now we also have that great impression by Daryl Hammond on Saturday Night Live. That's what your mother said last night, Trebek.
Yeah.
And I've won again, Trebek. Yeah. fucking guy. This guy. Fucking guy. But I think Daniel Craig is probably the best Bond we've had in a long time. He's really great.
I love the way that they're doing the new movies too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that they are very tied together. And because I was telling Stella, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the first time they've taken. It was the first time they had taken multiple different franchises, different movies from different franchises, tied them all together. And it makes sense. They're all based in the same universe and everything. I mean, they've even taken movies like Spider-Man, which are, from a whole different company, and thanks to Sony hanging on to the Spider-Man with like a death grip. And we've worked them in together as well. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But then, there's other movies that have tied in, at least in some level. Like the Bond movies always had, it's another one of Bond's missions, But I'd say that the Daniel Craig ones, definitely, they really tied themselves all together. And in a beautiful way. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that too.
CD said Connery equals awesome in his retirement movie, The Rock. And then said
no, his retirement movie was not The Rock. His retirement movie was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Was that after The Rock?
He retired. Yeah, that was after The Rock. He retired after he did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because he had such a shitty time making that movie. He was like, I think I'm done.
That was such a great movie, though. I love that movie.
I liked it. It's just it diverged a great deal from the source material. And The Rock was what happened to Connery's Bond.
Well, that's what he said later. Yeah, that's what he said after. He said,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had heard that as well. They say that there was a lot of rumor that his character in The Rock was essentially just James Bond that had been captured, and he was a political prisoner and just been held at Alcatraz for decades, and then was moved somewhere else. And yeah, there was a bunch of that was like Hollywood legend kind of stuff, and I don't think that was the case, but it would have been really cool. Yeah, they had lots of references to The Rock to him being Bond. Yeah, they did, but I don't know. It'd be interesting. It would be interesting to ask the writer and the director and say, what were you guys playing at there? So it'd be fun. Because I like The Rock too. I mean, I've loved Sean Connery. I mean, his work is amazing. Huh?
Not canon.
It's not canon, yeah. Like, just his voice in Dragonheart. As the dragon. I am the last one. You kill me, you're out of a job. Or his appearance at the end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, where he shows up and he's King Richard at the wedding. He shows up at the very end.
Was that him that did that?
Yeah, that's absolutely him.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I object, because I have not had the chance to kiss the bride. Hello, cousin. And he blesses the wedding, and that was it. He wrote in and he's the king. Gives, made Marion a little kiss on the cheek, and then and says,
"It's good. It's good to be the king."
It's a whole different movie.
But it's said there.
It is said.
Friar Tuckman says it right there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Friar Tuckman says
it's good to be the king.
In Men in Tights, when Patrick Stewart comes in,
yes, and
makes his cameo. It's good. It's good to be the king. I love Men in Tights. Great. So yeah, Bond. I think Daniel Craig is probably the latest Bond movies with some of the coolest ones we've ever seen. So pretty fucking cool. We should move on. What else? What else do we have? Speaking of Marvel movies, another trailer, right?
Yeah, the Morbius trailer.
Dude, now it's a Sony movie. It's tied into Venom, and in fact, in the trailer, he even mentions Venom at one point.
Well, I was going to bring that up. When he grabs the one guy that tries to stab him, he just grabs his arm and like twists it and breaks it, and the guy's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Venom."
And then he's like, "I'm just kidding. I'm
Dr. Michael Morbius at your service." Like, I'm Venom. And his face changes.
It's going to be really interesting to see Jared Leto in this role. I mean, Jared Leto has been a hell of an actor. He's done a lot of things of late, and that have really been killer. Of course, he was the Joker, and people are like, "Wow, the Joker." I mean, and some people liked him, some people didn't. I thought he was fine. I liked him. I didn't like the aesthetics. I didn't like the aesthetics. Right? We've talked about this. I agree. I was not a big fan of the aesthetic choice. But what are you gonna do? That was the choice that they made. He's also in House of Gucci. And a lot of prosthetic makeup. He's almost unrecognizable, which is pretty amazing. And he's in this movie. He's in Morbius. Now, for those guys who don't know, Morbius is a Spider-Man villain turned anti-hero, just like Venom, similar to Venom. I mean, and that's all Sony has now is they've got the Spider-Man villains.
that they're trying
Well,
to...
they have the Spider-Man mythos, which means they have Spider-Man, they have access to all of his villains.
But they can't make a Spider-Man movie without Marvel right now because of the deal that they have.
Yeah, correct, I believe.
At least not until after this next one comes out.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. After this current one, then they can branch off on their own if they want. But Tom Holland's contract is up as well. So, but although he has said that they'll probably keep doing it, but his contract is up after this new movie and then Multiverse of Madness, because he is supposed to show up in the new Doctor Strange.
There's supposed to be a lot of tie-in between the two movies.
Correct. So anyway, Michael Morbius they called him the living vampire. It was Morbius the living vampire. And what it was is he was a scientist with a blood disorder, which is evident in the movie. And he was working on curing himself and curing his blood disorder. And he discovers a cure that through experimenting with bats, and then he cures himself. But what the cure ends up doing is giving him superhuman abilities, similar to that of a vampire. So basically, he's a vampire without any of the mysticism, and he wasn't adverse to crosses. He couldn't transform himself into a bat. He could fly, things like that. He had strength, but he also had a bloodthirst,
sonar, radar.
Yeah, or like more of a sonar, or I guess
it's the bat radar is what he calls it in the trailer.
It's really more a sonar, because it's hit the cry and it comes back to them. And anyway, it's a so yeah, and he was a villain because he was one of those guys that was tragic. He was like, I'm a bad guy because I have to be, because I have to feed on the blood of the innocent, or whatever, I have to feed on the blood. And excuse me, Peter Parker had to fight with them, and then they tried to work together to try and cure him. And he's gone from being cured to having relapses and different things like that over the years. And then at one point, I think he actually did get bitten by a vampire. And because of the serum in his system and everything, it did give him more traditional vampiric powers. But at the same time, didn't have all of the restrictions. Like he's sensitive to the sunlight, but it doesn't kill him, and he's kind of a little more like Dampere, like Blade and stuff. But it's an interesting character. It's cool, and I'm not surprised that they made it, because you take superheroes, you mix them with vampires, you got gold right there, as Blade has showed us. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. But we also, who knows? We'll have to see. I think it's going to be successful, though. I mean, the Venom films did extremely well. Venom 2 is still doing very well at the box office. And I think this one's going to do well, too, because it's also attached. When you've got Jared Leto attached to a movie, that's big name right there. And he'll sell a movie just on, people go and see that just on him alone.
Yep.
Jared Leto with long hair and, shirtless. Fuck, come on. There are a lot of people out there going to see that, out there just to see that.
Yep.
But
overall, I think it looks good.
I do too. I wasn't sure at first, but I think it's going to do.
One of the things we see in the trailer too is Michael Keaton.
Right,
Morbius. Keep in touch.
Right, Michael Keaton has a small role as a returning cameo as the Vulture.
Yep.
Yeah, as Adrian Toomes. So fucking cool as well. I thought Michael Keaton was absolutely fantastic as the Vulture in the first Spider-Man, then Spider-Man Homecoming. So let's see him again. Absolutely. God, so cool. I believe we may be seeing him in the new Spider-Man movie coming up as well. So,
well, there's going to be so many. I mean, the new poster actually revealed that there's going to be another villain in it too. That was rumored but not confirmed.
What was that villain?
Green Goblin.
Oh yeah, no. Well, you hear in the trailer, you see a goblin bomb, and you hear the laugh.
But he's actually on the trailer. He's on the poster now. In the background, you can just see him.
Oh, okay.
He's off of some of the lightning that's in the background. You see Doc Ock's arms coming out at Spider-Man. You see lightning in the background, and then you see the Green Goblin on his flyer off in the far
glider.
distance. His glider, yeah.
I'm down, man. Spider-Man is the shit, and
my question is, who's going to play Green Goblin?
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe they'll get Defoe in again. I mean, they're tantamount to cameos, so they're not going to be big roles. I mean, and we know that Spider-Man is going to feature the multiverse at some point.
Yep.
So it's going to be awesome. What a time to be alive.
Yep.
You know?
And that's only a little over a month away.
Oh, I can't wait. I
So,
cannot wait.
So one of the other things that came out this week was the big announcement. Well, actually, it may have even happened before our show last week, but we didn't talk about it. But the big news, so crazy that Facebook is changing their name.
God.
And it's really, I think, just a cry for them to try and get away from the bad press.
Well, also the fact that I guess a lot of the younger generation kind of sees Facebook as a
that's the old people's
archaic
thing. Yeah, that's the old people's thing.
Right.
My joke was, so what are they going to call it? MySpace?
Right. No, what are they calling it again?
Meta.
Meta. That's right. Apparently, I saw an article saying that apparently there is another company called Meta.
Yeah, it's Meta something, and they have trademarked the name,
right,
but it hasn't gone through yet. But they've got like a 6-month lead on Facebook for getting the name.
And so Facebook has been trying to kind of muscle them out. You know, there's a lot of money. Facebook has a lot of fucking money.
They said they'd sell it to them for $20 million.
Why not then? Give it to them. You know, let them have it. But apparently they're having a tough time getting a hold of that name.
And here, the one thing though is that when you go to Facebook jail now, that you won't be doing that anymore. Now it'll be a Meta pause.
I hate you. What's wrong with you?
I can't take credit for it. I saw it online, but
I don't know. We'll see. I think the whole situation is really ridiculous and stupid. I mean, Facebook has plenty of it's got plenty of notoriety. They don't need to go and fucking change their name just because they're like, oh, we need to rebrand ourselves. What the fuck is the matter with you? No. They're not going to make the same mistakes as MySpace. I mean, one of the problems was MySpace became problematic. It became people started, using HTML to add all that kind of shit onto their pages, all the glittery shit and all the you couldn't pull up somebody's MySpace page without getting some kind of their favorite song being played. And it got to the point where loading a MySpace page could fuck up your computer, could crash your goddamn computer because people had so much crap, I mean, I did a little bit, I think I had a Thundercat symbol as the background of my MySpace page and stuff. And I've even heard
I was
some
on
people
MySpace for about an eye blink Veronica wanted a page, and I said, fine, but I'm going to be on there too then, don't.
I had a MySpace page. I mean, I didn't hate it. It was cool. It was the beginnings of social media. It allowed me to keep track of my friends and keep in contact with people. And then I discovered Facebook and never looked back.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a lot more homogenous, and you could be like, you can customize your page with your pictures, and you didn't have to like add all this extra HTML shit to customize your page.
Yeah.
So
it's more streamlined.
It was a lot more streamlined, and I liked that. So, and I just don't think it's necessary. We don't need to rebrand Facebook again. It's just so stupid.
No,
not necessary.
No, I don't think it is either. And I don't think it's going to be like Pine Knob, man. You can change the name, but everyone's still going to call it the name that they've always known it as.
Exactly.
You can call it Meta all you want. People are still going to say, "Hey, I was on Facebook," and like I still say, "I'm going to see a show at Pine Knob."
Yes, because you're an old man.
No, because it should be Pine Knob. Fuck DTE music, energy music theater, or whatever the fuck it is.
You fear change.
I don't fear change.
You hate change, Chris. You hate it.
I don't. Not in everything.
Anytime they bring up like a lot, well, not anytime. I'll give you credit there. I mean, a lot of times you bring up credit on bring up changing something you like, and you're like, I don't. Change D&D.
I love 5th edition. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like 5th edition, but then you like it. So that's the thing. You like 5th edition, and so they change certain things. I don't know. Star Wars.
I mean, like
Star Wars is the best example, honestly.
They fucked Star Wars up. They completely fucked it up. I can forgive a lot in the prequels, except for the midichlorian thing, which I thought was dumb, and that was George just trying to fucking science away.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
But the last 3,
the Force is a magical force
of
energy that binds us together, and it doesn't need to be explained.
Right.
By bullshit science.
And that's the thing. He was trying to make it more science fiction than science fantasy. I'm like, George, you got a great science fantasy thing going. Just let it be that. Let it be space magic.
Exactly. I don't know what you're talking about.
But the last 3 movies, yes. Rian Johnson screwed that all up because whereas, yes, I didn't care for the first one, 7, Force Awakens, because I thought it was too much like A New Hope, and I know that's what J.J. Abrams was going for. He wanted him to do an homage to A New Hope. Right. That's fine. What Rian Johnson did, though, was take a big old fucking flaming shit on top of the entire Star Wars universe.
I know.
And then J.J. couldn't save it and made it worse.
He tried his damnedest, though, didn't he?
Yeah, except that the whole Rey being a Palpatine thing, that was just too much.
But it did definitely. They tried their damnedest to pull that back together after Rian Johnson's.
Favreau and Filoni are the only ones keeping Star Wars alive. They are these saviors of Star Wars.
They are. Thankfully, Star Wars television is the best Star Wars we've gotten.
Book of Boba Fett is also coming out in December.
Right around the corner, yeah.
The trailers for that have been out, and holy shit, that looks so freaking good.
It really does. They're pulling out all the stops apparently, and I like it how, like at one point, she says, if you had spoken like that to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie. And then Boba Fett is like, no, speak freely. You know, you're like, that was almost scarier than
Boom.
boom.
Well, you see all of them. You see all of them. You see all of them back up when she says that too.
Yeah,
they like take a step back.
it's like, am I standing? What am I standing on? Am I standing on there? Yeah.
But yeah, that looks great.
Cool. We should probably move on.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Well,
we're getting
the only other thing.
Later.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up tonight before we get off the show is that it is November. It is No Shave November, which I don't know if you can tell yet, but I mean, I've got about a week's worth of growth here now. I am doing the No Shave November, and
you're gonna do No Shave November. Huh?
Yeah, I do it every year now, and the reason for it is to bring light or to get
awareness.
People talking awareness of men's health issues, and it's something that men don't like to talk about. We as a rule, men don't talk about their health. They don't talk about issues. They don't get themselves checked out by doctors nearly enough, unless they're married and their wives force them to do it. But it's something that I think is important, because there are a lot of things that happen with men, like prostate cancer and colon cancer and things like that that a lot of men won't go get checked out, but really they need to be. And I mean, it's all stuff that's preventable if you catch it early. And the only way to do that is to get regular checkups.
Yep.
So
that's true.
Go see your doctors, guys. Stick around.
Go see your doctors. Yeah. I wasn't planning on doing no shave November, no shave-ember, mainly just because I guess I hadn't really thought about it. I just haven't shaved because I haven't shaved because I have no fucking time, and yeah, it's just silly.
But yeah, I've done it every year for the last like 3 or 4 years.
Okay. I
usually keep it. I'll usually keep my beard for a little while after, because Renee likes it.
She likes that gray.
It's
that silver fox shit, man.
Yeah,
looks like.
Yep. I'm not gonna complain.
I might as well not. I think Stella prefers me clean shaven these days. So, all right. So No Shave-ember. Good luck with that. And it is great. It is good kind of thing to kind of remind people. It just kind of reminds people, hey, go get your shit checked out.
Yep.
Go get that finger in the butt.
It's one of those things. It's unpleasant, but it's something you need for
It's over relatively quickly.
Yep. And if they catch something, then it's very treatable when caught in the early stages.
You'll be very glad you did it.
Yep.
So, and thankfully, honestly, there's for younger men, there's a blood test, prick test actually. They just check your blood for the enzymes essentially that are in your system. There is like a tiny fucking fruit fly in here, and it's driving me bonkers. Like a gnat. It's not even a fruit fly. It's like a gnat. Anyway, it's the digital test is for guys like more our age, more so.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, man, maybe we should go in there and root around a little bit. Ooh.
That episode of Dads, well, it still kills me. It's one of the hardest I've ever laughed at a TV show.
I'm unfamiliar.
You never watch Dads?
It's the one with
Seth Green and Giovanni
Ribisi. Yeah,
Ribisi.
I remember the show. I just don't know if I saw the episode that you're referring to.
Yeah. You look it up online. It's it was, I forget who it was that was on there that played the doctor. I think he was an old vaudeville actor. But he was hilarious, and I don't know that I've laughed so hard at a TV show before. I mean, I was having trouble breathing on that.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I'll check it out.
That show just pushed the edge enough to make it one of the funniest shows on TV, and it only made it a year, one season, because Fox couldn't handle it.
Fox couldn't handle it. Yeah, you know.
The
Fox
same
couldn't handle a lot of
same
things.
problem with Greg the Bunny when it was on regular TV instead of on IFC, which the ones on regular TV are way funnier, I think, than the IFC stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw it. I've got the DVD set of the series.
Yeah, I actually want the DVD set because that show was a riot too.
It's very funny. If you guys have never seen the Greg the Bunny, I mean, it's similar to if you watched the Happy Time Murders, that movie that came out like 2 years ago, where puppets are like living creatures that
fabricated Americans,
right? And so, and they're given rights and whatever else. And unfortunately, one of the few jobs that they can get is working in children's television. So that's
anyway,
actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I got a couple of things here before we go. Gal Gadot has confirmed that Linda Carter will be in Wonder Woman 3. They haven't said exactly what she's going to be playing, but if you remember, she did have a cameo in the second film as Asteria, the Amazon Asteria, a post-credit scene. And she like grabs they talk about Wonder Woman talks about a legendary warrior that left the island years ago and kind of had been there for, they never knew exactly what happened to her and all this other shit. And so it could be interesting, but it seems Asteria will have a larger part to play this time around. Of course, Carter famously portrayed Wonder Woman in the TV series of the same name, which ran from 75 to 79. So it doesn't have a release date yet, but in the meantime, okay. So that'd be kind of cool. I'd love to see Linda Carter kind of. I love that legacy kind of thing that the DC movies and shows have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. The Avengers video game, which has been kind of panned by a lot of fans, is getting its long-awaited Spider-Man update later this month. I believe at the end of the month, they will be doing adding Spider-Man to the roster. A few months ago, they added Black Panther, and I have not played through that part yet. The game's earlier DLC packs for Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and Black Panther will now be joined by Spider-Man. And it's more than just a new playable character. It arrives in alongside a new hero event with its own story arc, the game's first ever raid, and substantial updates to a number of systems. The game is cool, but it is kind of repetitive, and it's also built for tons of microtransactions. You don't got to pay to win, but if you want to get all the costumes and unlock all the things and everything, you kind of got to, cough up some dough. So
yeah,
it's a bit of a drag, but visually it's great. Visually it's really cool. They even at Halloween they had some special Halloween costumes you could earn and unlock and stuff. But so anyway, if you're a big fan of Spidey, it is only going to be available, from what I understand, on the PlayStation version, at least first. I believe later on they will be planning on releasing it for Xbox and PC versions. Once Sony gets there and PlayStation owners get the first crack at it.
I'm hearing good things about, speaking of video games, I'm hearing good things about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that as well. Apparently, oh man, I must have closed the window on it. But yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, and it's getting is proving to be successful. It's getting some really great reviews, fun story, fun gameplay. The voice acting has gone over well. It's a slight variation on how the characters look from, say, the comics and the movies, but still really great. So you guys might want to check that one out as well. The Skyrim Anniversary Edition price was revealed alongside its upgrades. So coming up sometime this month, I think like either this week or next. Launches on the 11th. So that would be 3 days from today, on Thursday. The Skyrim Anniversary Edition will be launching. Now, they've stated they do have a price point for it. Earlier today on November 5th, this was a couple days ago, Bethesda published a blog post detailing that the standard price point for Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition will be $49.99 across all platforms. Bethesda left the announcement party last minute, considering the Anniversary Edition of Skyrim launches next week on November 11th. However, there's a way to get Skyrim Anniversary Edition for a lot cheaper. If you already own Skyrim Special Edition, which I do, on any platform, PlayStation 4, which, let's face it, hell of a lot of us do by now. That's pretty funny. Then you can pick up the Anniversary Edition of Skyrim for just $19.99. So basically, I just have to put my disc in and basically show, hey, I own it. And then it'll allow us to purchase it, from what I understand, for just $19.99. Now, from what I understand, the things that you'll be getting is pretty well worth the $20. If you didn't already notice this, the Anniversary Edition is getting a physical retail release, but you'll need an internet connection to download the special new content, like the Creation Club. Additionally, there'll be a free new gen upgrade available for the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S versions of the Anniversary Edition, which Bethesda says will enhance graphics and drastically reduce load times. Finally, all achievements trophies from Skyrim Special Edition will transfer over to Skyrim Anniversary Edition when obtaining the new version of the game. However, there's a pretty major catch to this, as Bethesda writes, the trophies won't transfer over if you're upgrading the PS4 version of Skyrim to the new PS5 version for some unknown reason. It's hard to believe it's nearly been 10 years since Skyrim first launched. When the Anniversary Edition launches next week, the big new feature of the edition is the Creation Club, which adds 4 main pieces of content, including fishing, a new storyline called Saints and Seducers, an ingredient-focused Rare Curios mode, and finally the ultra-tough Survival mode. We'll be picking up Skyrim yet again next week. Yes. We'll most probably be picking that up. The thing about it is a lot of the things they are offering in this edition are things that you could already have purchased separately. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you're getting all of it for $20 plus some other stuff and an upgrade, worth it.
The CD said to play when.
Yeah, I don't know when. I would love to start over on the VR edition. I really wanted to play the VR edition. I need a VR to play that, though.
Yeah, see, I've still haven't played more than a couple hours into Skyrim at all.
Yeah, because you're lame. Take the time, motherfucker. It's a 10-year-old game and still unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. And the other thing is too, it is probably the last Bethesda game I'm going to be able to get on my console, because I am a PlayStation guy, not an Xbox guy. And since Microsoft bought ZeniMax, which owns Bethesda, we won't be getting too many games, at least not at an initial. Goddamn bug. We won't be getting them at that initial launch. I mean, if they do end up porting those games over, it will be much later. So, unfortunately, save the money for VR system and yes, play Skyrim. Thank you, CD. I am gonna probably get eventually, because there will be they are planning on bringing out a new VR setup for the PlayStation 5. I'm not going to buy a PS VR right now because it's compatible with the 5, but like I said, they're retooling it and going to be upgrading it for a new VR system for the 5, and that's what I'll get when I can. Next gen VR. Oh my God, the fishing update people are talking about now. See, I think that's the silliest thing. But I guess fishing video games are a big deal, man. People love them.
Dude, they put fishing into like all the games that, like, it's in Far Cry 6.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's in I want to say it's in Breakpoint too. It's in a lot of those first person shooter games,
right?
That have stories. But yeah, I've done fishing in Far Cry 6. You catch fish and then you can go trade them for materials.
wild. Apparently, they're saying as part of the fishing update in Skyrim, you'll be able to cook and eat all of your catches for a health boost, which should come in handy in survival mode. Or if you'd rather build up a collection of aquatic pets, you can give them their own little tanks and turn your home into an aquarium. You can also mount the fish onto your wall if you're particularly fond of your fishing prowess. Finally, the fishing update will let alchemists use fish as an ingredient in many interesting new combinations. Okay, so that's kind of cool if you're going to add that in kind of thing. The long-awaited fishing update launches alongside the Skyrim Anniversary Edition, which bundles in more than 500 pieces of content from the Creation Club, including new quests, dungeons, bosses, weapons, and spells. The new edition includes Skyrim's big expansions, Dragonborn, Dawn, Guardian, Hearthfire, and will be available at $50 standalone purchase or as a $20 upgrade from the special edition. So, as we were just talking about. So, I just don't, I mean, I'll probably do some fishing, but there'll probably be a bunch of, like, you know, a bunch of achievements and trophies and stuff that'll come with that as well. Also on Games Radar or Newsarama, if you prefer, the Golden Joystick Awards have announced the ultimate game of all time and best gaming hardware of all time shortlist you can vote on if you'd like. 50 years of games. The best gaming hardware of all time, I'm going to read through them real fast. The Wii, the PlayStation 4, and Nintendo DS, the Atari 2600, the PC, the Game Boy Advance, Sega Saturn, GameCube, Game Boy, ZX Spectrum, Nintendo Entertainment System, Xbox 360, Commodore 64, Nintendo 64, Amiga 500, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, PlayStation, Sega Mega Drive, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Those are all up for best gaming hardware of all time. And then also the ultimate game of all time. Now, this is kind of an interesting one because it runs the gamut. So I'm going to run through these real fast. And you're, like I said, you go to the site, you can vote on these. The ones you can vote on: Minecraft, The Last of Us, Doom, 1993, Tetris, Super Mario 64, Street Fighter 2, Space Invaders, Portal, Pokemon Go, Super Mario Kart, Grand Theft Auto 5, Super Mario Brothers 3, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Halo, Combat Evolved, Dark Souls, Metal Gear Solid, Half-Life 2, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Pac-Man, and the original SimCity from 1989. All solid games. I think every single one of those games belongs on that list from, if not legacy, then just the fact that there are really amazing games. And they run the gamut in types of games. The only thing I would say...
And years.
Yes, and years. The only thing that I would say is there really isn't a really good example of a fantasy role-playing game.
Yeah.
A la Skyrim or Baldur's Gate 3.
Or Dragon Age.
Any of those, there isn't really a good example. Now, some people would say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I disagree. I think Legend of Zelda stands alone as its separate kind of thing. It is a fantasy setting, but it's not your traditional sword and sorcery kind of setting. The Legend of Zelda was really its own creature. So they do have Grand Theft Auto 5, which some would say is an RPG. Yeah, it's an RPG, but it's not a fantasy RPG. Same thing with Dark Souls. People say, yeah, Dark Souls. Not the same. I'm looking for, you know, your Pathfinder, your Baldur's Gate 2 or 3, your Skyrim. I am kind of surprised that Skyrim is not on this list, considering how immensely popular it has been over the last 10 years. Yep. One of the most popular, one of the biggest games.
They may have left it off just so that to give other games a chance.
Maybe. So, so if you want to go on, I voted personally on mine for Last of Us and then Grand Theft Auto 5, because it allows you to vote for one and then a runner-up. I said Last of Us, which amazing game. Absolutely, hands down, one of the best games I've ever played. And out of this group, also Grand Theft Auto 5. Although I am not a massive fan of playing the villain, it is still, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a masterpiece in gameplay.
Never played any of the Grand Theft Auto games.
They're fun. In fact, I did see that.
Never wanted to go around just beating up hookers and shit. It just.
Well, there's a lot more to it than that, and in fact, in Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, it's not something you're supposed to do. It's not like it's part of the story. In GTA, like in the 3 and the previous versions, that is something that you could do for money and stuff. But in the later versions, it is something you can do, but it's not something that's encouraged in the game. They're actually releasing a anniversary edition for GTA. I think it's Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, and it's getting a graphics update. And like they're smoothing it out, making it look nicer for the current generation systems. So that's pretty cool.
So speaking of video games, though, Star Wars: The Old Republic getting really close to its 10-year anniversary, and the launch of the new systems, the new playstyle system. But one of the things that they're doing currently, and they just started doing it, I think today or yesterday, something like that, within the last couple of days, they are re-releasing all of the cinematics that they've done throughout the years for the game in 4K.
Oh wow, cool, very cool. You're just hoping that the TV that you play the game on, or the screen that you play the game on, can handle 4K.
Yep.
Because if you're playing on a monitor on a computer, and you play on a monitor that's not really 4K.
Yeah.
4K compatible, then
my one monitor here is. So I don't know that my cables are, but my monitor is.
Well, you got a big old beautiful monitor there. I've seen it.
So we should probably wrap things up, though.
We should. It's getting late. I've got sleep to get to and food, and my brain is not really firing on all cylinders right now. So, guys, thanks for joining us tonight and every night, month right now, Monday night here at Nerds with Alcohol. You guys can find us in all the places you can find quality podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are available on the Google Play Store and iTunes, on iHeartRadio, on the Odyssey app, on Stitcher. And did I forget one?
Did you say Spotify?
And Spotify. Did not say Spotify. Thank you, Spotify. Also, you can download and stream us at www.nerdswithalcoholshow.com, where you can get all of our episodes. And I think it was CD actually downloaded some of the early ones. CD would like to hear what you think about some of our very first episodes, which were very rough.
They're way different
than they are now.
I actually should go back and listen to some of those myself, because
me too.
I haven't listened to those in a long time. Actually, I want to go back and listen to 98, the Murph episode again.
Yeah, that would be great.
I said first one was good. Sounded good.
Yeah, good. And of course, you can find us here on
200 Ale and Neris or Henry's Orange. Those were our first drinks. You did Henry's Orange Soda, and I did 200 Ale.
Holy shit, Henry's. Well, grape was good too. You're right. Wow, that's nuts. LOL, bodily function stuff to do. yeah, we do. Thanks, CD. Guys, you can also, like I said, we're here every Monday night right now. We'll be going back to Tuesdays once work calms down a little bit for me.
December 2nd, I think, or no, the 30th.
Something like that.
Yeah, November 30th. It'll be our next show on Tuesday.
Guys, we're also catch us on every other Friday for our Tavern Nights D&D game.
Not this Friday, but the following Friday. But next Friday we'll be on for that. So I'm looking forward to it. I missed it last week.
Yeah.
And Pete was saying that he really missed it too, especially with where we left off with you guys in that dungeon setting.
I'm hoping that I don't have a conflict. I might. I'm not sure. I have to check.
Well, we'll be the Friday before Thanksgiving, so
that might be Hobnobble Gobble. Shit. have to double check the dates.
All right. Well, remember you can also follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Instagram, Drinking Nerds, and on Twitter at Drinking Nerds. And if you want, you can follow me at Detroit Beer Guy on Twitter as well. I actually did post a bunch of the beers that I was drinking over the weekend, so trying to get back into using Untappd to post stuff out on the socials. So
Exactly. All right.
I just realized I only brought one glass in, didn't I?
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Be sure to tell all your friends about us, and then spread the word. Looks like we might have dropped a follower. We had 51, now it says 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a bummer. But yeah, guys, so tell us your friends about us. We need more followers, please, please, please.
Okay, I guess that'll work. Yeah, I think that's gonna about do it.
Yeah, exactly. My brain is not firing on all cylinders, so it is time to go.
So on that note, until next time.
Slancha.
Oops, I just spilled.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, that was a shitty one too. I only have one glass, so I'm gonna get this all cleaned up. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.